Good morning, everyone. This is Uche Joku. It is Friday morning. This is September 2nd. And I'm sitting here in Five Island Park in New Rochelle on the Long Island Sound. And I just want to come to you real quick and share a thought with you. So I've been getting a lot of messages from aspiring leaders, those who are looking to move into administration in schools. And there's a reoccurring theme that I want to address and also help aspiring leaders really get into check. And that is this notion of what you deserve. Too often, people think to themselves, I've been doing this for such a long time, or for this period of time, whether it's serving in the capacity of positions that should be leading you towards leadership, or whether it's preparation, going through a program, or even waiting or interviewing and applying for positions and not getting the positions. And then there's this sense of bitterness, like, why is it not happening? I'm being played. The system's not fair because, they say there's positions out there, but it's not really there because it's already designated for someone else. And I get that. And, I went through that. I in my journey from being a pedagogue to becoming an administrator, I went through that, especially when it came down to becoming a principal. I went through at least 3 times, and I made a video about this, 3 times where I should have been, like in my mind, I should have been, appointed a principal, and it didn't happen. And one of the things that I think it interferes with that journey is the fact that you start to believe that you deserve it. Listen to me, brothers and sisters, you don't deserve jack squat. You have to earn it. And earning it means that you have to put the time in and understand that no matter what is going through your mind, you got to check that. You check your ego and you just put work in. You put the work in and show and prove that you are more than capable of leading. Sometimes you gotta lead from the back. Sometimes you have to lead when, not even sometimes, all the time. You gotta lead when people are not even watching, when you don't believe people are watching. Because the thing is, someone's always watching. Someone's always talking about you. And if your time is spent, telling everyone, I could have, I should have, I was played, or the opportunity was taken away from me, then guess what happens? Nobody cares. And it's the one who comes in with confidence, is very, very clear, and is unapologetic about what they've done and their stance and their willingness to keep doing what they're doing, regardless of whether or not they get the position or not. That is the real work right there. The other thing too is, those of you who are applying for positions, and there's a lot of people out there who are doing the work, who are grinding, and they're applying for positions and they're not getting the callbacks, or people are promising the callback, or people are making promises it's not coming through. I learned this the hard way. You can't force anyone's hand. You just can't. So whatever is happening through your process or their process, you just have to keep doing what you're doing. One of the things that I know that served me really well is being tenacious. My thing is this: if there's a position or an opportunity, I will pursue it, without fear, understanding that the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't pan out. You don't lose anything. You just keep moving forward. Do not let your ego and your emotions take control, and all of a sudden you start to believe I'm being played, or I'm being overlooked. But that's complete nonsense. Because at the end of the day, as you're pursuing the next step in your career, there's easily hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have the same thought as you have. The question is, what differentiates you from them? I'll be honest with you, that thing is the body of work that you've done, and also the body of work that you're doing. When I interview someone for a position with me, my question is always, show me something that you've led. Show me something that you're leading. That has numbers attached to it, that you can tell me, this is the action plan. This is the thought process behind why we're doing this for my school, or why I'm doing this for my community. The data says this, and I'm trying to get us to over here. I'm trying to close the achievement gap. I'm trying to to push my lowest thirds up. I'm trying to make sure we're more efficient, that we're building a better school culture. Here are the numbers where we started. Here are the benchmarks that I set. Here's where we are right now. And this is our movement towards hitting that target. Like, these things change school communities, change environments. That's what you should be doing. Not worrying about who's calling you back, who's not calling you back, or I've been putting work in for all these years and nothing's coming through. And a lot of you guys are complaining and you barely put any work in. I remember when I applied to be a teacher in New York City, and back then in 2005, there were all these hiring fairs. And what happened is I came to New York from LA with only one fair left. And I was like, I'm not even gonna go to that fair. Because I already know at that point in time, people who attending that fair are going to be the ones who are the leftovers. They've already went to other fairs and they've not been hired or given an opportunity. Why would I want to put myself in that space? So do you know what I did? I knew I was going to be working in the Bronx. I knew I was going to be a special education teacher. I knew my license was 6 through 9, which covered middle school and high school. And I knew I wanted to be a high school teacher. So I made a list of every single school and principal in the Bronx. And I did a cover letter. I did my resume. I had, it was a lot. Listen, it was a lot. I just know that I had a stack, and I know it was definitely over 50 envelopes, if not more than that. And I sat there and I typed those letters up. I mail merged. I did labels. I put them in the envelopes, and I put them in the mail to every single school. And then what I did from there, the schools that I was like, these are the schools I really am interested in. I make cold calls. Hello, my name is so and so. My name is Uchechukwu Njoku. I am a New York City teaching fellow. I'm looking for this position. I sent you a copy of my resume. And this is back in the day when, there was still email, but I really believed in the power of the letter. And not only that, I did follow with emails too, trust me. But I covered my grounds, and I started making phone calls. And what ended up happening? Three schools reached out to me based on the strength of my letter. And those were the first 3 schools I had interviews. And then after those three schools, it was floodgates open. I was getting calls left and right, which was crazy. But within those 3 schools, which I interviewed for and I got the offer, I had my pick. And that's how I ended up at Discovery High School, where the principal, Scott Goldner, said to me, I want you to be my dean as well. And here I am, 17 years later. And again, that had to do with my tenacity and my willingness to not let someone tell me, or let my emotions guide me. For me, I was like, this is the business, and it is the business of me. And I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep applying for the next step. But if it's not happening, I'm still going to keep grinding, because you never know who's watching. And I've shared this with a lot of people. And in my previous videos. After my first position in New York City, where I got hired for, I have not had another interview since that first interview this was August of 2005. Every job I've had in New York City has been, a referral based on my skill sets and the things that I've done, and yeah. And that's how I move forward. So again, I want to say this to you, all of you who are aspiring leaders. Get off your high horse. Focus on the work. Put the grind in. If there's a position you're going after, come up with a plan, pursue it. But if it doesn't pan out, stop crying. Stop crying and just say, you know what? On to the next one. Because eventually you will get there. I know people who've put in 20 years in the DOE before they became principals. I know people who put 20 years in the DOE or Department of Education, wherever they are in the country, before they became assistant principals or before they became deans. My case was different. Mine was a little accelerated, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna look at another person's path and be like, woe is me, and why am I not getting that? I'm just gonna put in the work. And that's what I'm telling you, put in the work, And again, one last thing. When someone makes a referral for you, somebody says to you, hey, I'm gonna make a call for you, or I'm gonna refer you to someone. Once that's been done, the baton has been passed to you, it's all on you. It's all on you. You know, because at the end of the day, you could be led to the water, but then when you get to that water, it's for you to drink. It's for you to drink. So nobody can drink for you. Remember that, you know, and also remember, whatever you're going after, there's at least one other person going after that just as hard as you are, or if not harder. What are you doing to stand out? All right, y'all. This is Uche Njoku, Sneaker Principal. Have a blessed day, and I'll talk to y'all later, all right? Peace.